Hello, everyone. This is Political Chit Chat, and I'm your host, Gonzalo Duran. I look forward to talking to you about global and local politics. If you'd like to be on the show, feel free to email me at gonzaloduranyc@gmail.com. To get to know me better, feel free to check out my social media at Gonzalo Duran NYC. Until then, and as always, God bless America. Hello, everyone. This is Political Chit Chat, and I'm your host, Gonzalo Duran. Today, honored guest is James Washington Ward, running for City Council 12. And we'll also be talking about certain current events today going on. James, thank you for being here today.
I appreciate you having me, Gonzo. How was everything?
Everything's going pretty good. For those that may not know who you are, could you give a little bit about your background?
Again, my name is James Washington Ward. My background, I'm a Bronx native, Bronxite, whichever one you want to consider me. Born and raised, I've went to Gompers High School. Started in a program to start a CC Cadet Corps. Worked my way up. I worked for Kips Bay for a while. Went off to school. Came back. Worked for Best Buy for a number of years, and now I'm here running for City Council.
And what got you into wanting to run for City Council?
I don't like the way New York City is being ran. The streets. Nothing's getting better and everything's costing more.
That would be a reason to try to fight back and stuff. Now, in your specific district, what do you see that are some of the biggest problems?
Property values going up, poverty, the number of homeless people coming in, kids not having anything to do after school. Those are some of the main ones. The elderly, not only are they being pushed out, but a lot of them work their whole lives and can't afford the medicine to keep them alive. And this is the time they're supposed to enjoy the fruits of their labor, but yet their fruits is going towards keeping them alive. So in my personal feelings, I don't think that's fair to them.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that there's rules on how do you have to maintain children, but when it comes to the seniors, we're pretty relaxed on those situations.
Very relaxed. I feel, and I'm not trying to say that you don't do it, but a lot of senior homes or assisted living homes are not vetting their employees properly, and there's a lot of mishandling of seniors in these places as well. And it's time to put a change to that. It's just time to, these are your parents, your grandparents, and we need them to be treated right for the rest of the time that we have them with us.
So now you've talked a little bit about crime, inflation, and the elderly. Is there any other topics that's on your platforms for running?
Child safety, child care, education. I don't think it's right that as parents, you have to struggle harder to put your child in a private school if you want them to get a proper education, or if you want them to be pushed intellectually, or you have to settle for a charter school. I feel public schools should offer the same curriculum. All three should be on the same, if not similar, curriculums, making sure that all of New York is getting a proper education, no matter what your pocket level should be.
Now, what's your goal in trying to changing that? Like, are you saying throw more money at it, kick students out? What would be your way on trying to fix that?
In order to fix it, we really would have to sit down and take a look at what books we're using to teach these kids. Also, who we put in these schools to teach these kids, and hold the parents somewhat accountable. And I say somewhat accountable because education does not start and stop with a building called school. Education is continuous learning. So even when they're out of school, your kids need to be learning something. Whether it's, you sitting down and reading them a book, you going over their homework with them, education has to be continuous. It has to be.
Do you see any issues pre-pandemic or after the pandemic situation?
A lot of after-school programs didn't reopen after the pandemic, and I think that's a problem in itself. A lot of after-school programs cut their hours after the pandemic, so now you have mom and dad working and they're struggling, 9 to 5, and they're getting off at 5 o'clock, and the after-school program ends at 5 o'clock or it ends at 6 o'clock, and now they have to make the mad dash from work in order to get to wherever they got to be and try not to accrue late fees and everything else. When pre-pandemic and when you and I were growing up, we had places like Kips Bay and other after-school programs like the PAL that ran until 7 to 8 o'clock in the evening. So that way mom and dad had time to actually get off of work, hit the supermarket if they had to hit the supermarket to actually buy something nutritious for the kids to eat, not relying on Chinese food, pizza, or frozen processed foods to get home to cook real quick, because you got to get your kids to bed, you got to make sure they're sleeping, and now your parents aren't checking, homework properly and everything else, where it just, we have to get back to the sense of community to actually, get everybody back in the same space.
I didn't grow up with a traditional family. My mother was single, and she, she came here illegally, so she didn't have an education. But she knew the value of us going to school, me and my sister. And I can't say what the numbers were back then exactly, but going to community boards, speaking to parents, there's an increase in migration that happened, during the pandemic time frame. So we had an increase in flux of students coming in. That's one. The budget's being cut, partly because of the immigration as well. Programs that have to shift over and stuff like that. Then you have, let's say social structures of, when you come home, you have to cook, clean, try to find time for yourself, etc. So, I think we've lost a lot of that whole, family activities together. Mm-hmm. You can find time for 30 minutes for, the next King of the Hill episode, but
or baddies or something like that,
the MTV stuff or whatever people are watching these days, instead of, going over the math homework with your child or something like that. That's something I would love to start pushing more for the community. And guess what? It doesn't cost money.
Nothing doesn't cost
but
anything.
It is time consuming and it's hard to get everything that's needed. Now, in my situation, my mother wouldn't be able to help me with my homework anyway.
Right. Oh, I would say what I do with my children is we'll sit down and we'll watch YouTube. We'll go over algebra problems on YouTube, or we'll sit there and watch a science program on YouTube. There's ways to get information out there. There's never been a problem with curling up you and your children in the bed and everybody looking at one tablet to watch a science program or to figure out how to solve a math problem. You can do little things throughout the house, like as they're cleaning up their toys. If you say, hey Johnny, you got one toy and you pick up another toy, how many toys is that do you have in both of your hands? Basic math like that, just to keep them on their toes. Or what color is the pencil you're holding in your hand? Like I say, education continues. You could be driving in the street. What color's the light? Or what color's that bus? Keeping your kids, no matter what age, sharp. Or the older they get, hey, if they don't have their license or they're going for their license, you know why we can't turn on the red? Or do you know why they only pump your gas in Jersey and they don't pump your gas in New York? Little things like that, if you don't know and they don't know, something that can research together, well, then pull it up on your phone real quick. And then that way you bring the learning atmosphere to the family.
Well, just for point of reference, I forget or I don't know why Jersey does pumping. Why do they do that?
Man, it's been so many years since me and my child looked it up, but I believe it's because one day some dude was smoking at the pump and went to put gas in this car and blew the whole gas station up.
Yep.
And so
That would make sense.
it was the Jersey City Council legislation who came in and said, from now on, you have to have a gas attendant pump your gas. Same thing we can do here in New York. If that's the way y'all want it, speak to your local city council person, your district leader, and we can put in legislation to say a gas attendant will have to pump your gas. And what else that does, it also increases the job market, because now more gas stations will have to hire gas attendants to be out there to pump your gas for you.
So when we were going over your background, I want to say humbly skipped over a lot of things that you have done with the community. You're an avid volunteer with many different organizations. I know you have your own organization, the Bronx Arc, I believe.
Yes.
And, I've seen some of your productive, not only that, but, you are a photographer by trade.
Right.
And you're very involved civically with not only your party, but also other parties as well. Any of those subjects you want to touch on?
Well, the Bronx Arc is, that's my baby. It's the ARC, ARCK, Acts of Random Charity and Kindness. And what we do is we work with other nonprofit organizations to bring resources to the community. So if you have a nonprofit organization and you want to do a toy drive, you can come talk to myself. I work with Devil Dog more exclusively with toy drives and stuff like that, just because we've already had that relationship. And what I bring to the table is I bring the photography to the table. So when they want to do pictures with Santa Claus and family Christmas portraits along with getting a free toy, then, it just brightens up everybody's day. We're also looking to branch out and get a mobile bus where we can show up to certain locations throughout the city, and if you need guidance or help, just to get on a laptop to get a job or to fix your resume and things of that nature, we will also be there to help. I work also with the Conservative Party. That's the party that I'm running under. Also, what's the New York Alliance?
Well, you're also on the independent line with the United Alliance Party.
Right. So, and the main reason why I'm on the independent line is I want people to know that I'm willing and I'm able to work with anybody, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Conservative, Independent. This isn't a party situation. This is a people situation. And us at this level of government, we have to put our people first. And I'm willing to work with any party that's willing to put the people first, the people's problems first, and come together and get a cooperative understanding of what we have to do and what we have to shift in order to bring change to New York City is why I'm running. Because change ultimately starts with us. We have to educate people on what this election is really about. We don't have the turnouts in these elections as we do in a presidential election because far too many people don't understand what this election and legislative government is. And it's up to us to start teaching people and getting them out there, because we're supposed to be here for the people. We're elected by the people, so let's start doing what we have to do for the people.
Very well said. Now, I was looking over the statistics. So there's 51 city council seats currently that's up for election this year. You have maybe 45, give or take a couple, that are actually running. So that means about 15 or so are vacant. That means they didn't have anybody to run on. I was looking at the Bronx. The Bronx has, I think, 12 or 13 legislative positions, and they're just one short, which was the 14th city council district. That means they didn't have the Conservative Party nor the Republican Party had any money at the 14th city council. That means after that Democrat ran for the primary, she's just walking into a position without no competition. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, well, I would hope that that Democrat or the name of the person in the 14th is doing a well enough job where people feel they do not have to run against that particular person. And again, I'm not too sure who's in that, position, and I'm not here to talk bad about anybody. I'm here to work with whoever wants to work with me. And if they're doing a great job, then let's work together. Let's get things done. Because ultimately, my goal is the people. My goal is the elderly, the children, the moms, the dads. We can even sit down, and if you want to have a discussion on better insurance for your animals, we can have that conversation too. But elect me because I'm here for you. And that's, pretty much what I have to say about that.
No, that's fine. I wasn't trying to push you on negativity with any particular. What I'm trying to get at is right now you're going to be running against somebody.
Right.
I'm assuming whether your feelings are pro or against them, you're still running nonetheless because you think you can do a better job.
Right.
So now that you're in this position, and you're a first-time candidate, how do you see yourself? How's your campaign going?
My campaign is going a little slow, but it's slow because, again, this is my first campaign, and what I'm realizing is there's a lot of funds that you need to run a campaign, and that's fine because I may not have the funds this year. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna stop trying and stop advocating and stop pushing, and I'm not stopping. This is maybe a detour. It may be my stopping grounds, but I'm not stopping. So if I get elected, I will do my time as an elected official, and then we're going to see what else I can help out from there. And that's the way I look at my career. This is a forward progression, train that's coming down the line. It's not veering left. It's not veering right. We're going to do what we got to do. We'll make stops along the way, but the ultimate goal is to help the people.
Now, this may be your first legislative campaign, but I know you've been a district leader for at least 2 years now.
Yeah.
Comparative to the work that you've done at the community level so far, how do you see yourself progressing? Because, let's say this campaign is a starting point for you for
right.
not only understanding, but for your political career. Do you see yourself running again next year, or do you see building up and going back to try to refocus and come back at another time?
I see myself in both positions because I can still work and regroup. The circle that I have around me, I consider to be top notch. They'll never let me give up, and they're always looking to improve on what's next. And that's where our mindset is what's next. Okay, right now we're looking to run for city council. As we're running for city council, we're doing A and B, but what's next? So I'm always going to be looking to improve, and this isn't going to be my first. I'm going to improve the Bronx Arc. I'm going to continue to work with the Sea Cadets. I'm going to continue to work with Devil Dog USA. I'm continue to work with the Conservative Party. I'm going to continue to work with the Independent Alliance. I'm going to continue to do what I have to do to get myself out there and get myself known so I can continue to progress forward.
All right. Well, is there any current events that you'd like to talk about today?
Oh, man. Funny current event now. It's not really the current, but it just, it kind of hit home because these congestion prices, and I've been watching people put on, Instagram and Facebook, and I've been getting the mixed reviews for them. Some people love them to death because, yes, they are getting people home a lot quicker because there's less people travel. But I think the way the city gridded the city could use some work because they put you in a real tight grid, and for people that don't really travel in the city every day, if you're not careful, you can hit your congestion toll booths 3 to 4 times accidentally without even realizing it, because you may get stuck on a particular side of the street, or you're stuck behind the truck and you can't see them ahead of time in order to get down the block or wherever have you, or you're down a one-way street and you can't make a U-turn knowing that, hey, this isn't the way I'm supposed to go. Or if your GPS messes up, some GPSs don't even know that if you go down certain roads that you're going to hit a toll. So I think it was a good idea, maybe poor planning and poor execution on it. But we'll see how time, how time does it.
I think all above it was a poor plan and poor execution. And for those that may not know, we're both from the Bronx, so coming into Manhattan, and we're at the Manhattan Neighborhood Network studio, which is on 38th Street. So it's we're in that area
Right.
of the booth. Now, me personally, I'm like, I'm not crazy about having to be taxed more within a borough of a borough. Like, I've never been, or having to go from one borough to another borough to pay a tax. I think that's ridiculous. Me personally.
I understand it. Like, I understand bridge taxes, you pay to get out of the Bronx into Queens because, that money, and I'm not looking at the books, so I don't know exactly, but as I know of, that money that you pay in the toll to, say, cross the Throgs Neck Bridge or the Whitestone Bridge, that money that you're paying is supposed to go to the upkeep of the bridge. Again, I'm not looking at the books. I don't see where that money is going. So I'm not going to sit here and speculate that it's not going, because, knock on wood, and thank goodness, those bridges have lasted the test of storms that have come through, and we haven't had no hiccups or mishaps. But, for example, you want to say, if you're coming down this side of Manhattan and you go into the side of the Lincoln Tunnel, you're almost playing Russian roulette with whatever street you go down that may lead to the Lincoln. You may not even go into the Lincoln Tunnel. You could be trying to go into the Javits Center, and it's Russian roulette to try to make the wrong turn or go down the street, and the next thing you know, you're paying a congestion toll. And then I'm unfortunate because I'm fortunate with unfortunates, because my child, my daughter, she gets involved in so many different programs with the hospitals because she wants to be a forensic psychologist. So we're always going to different hospitals in Manhattan. And it's unfortunate that now, because of her good doings, I would have to come out of pocket and pay more money for these tolls, So I think that, like I said, the idea is nice because it keeps a lot of, hey, I'm bored, let me go drive around Manhattan. It keeps that out. But the people that actually need to be in Manhattan for whatever reason, I think it hinders the people that are coming from the Bronx, from Queens, from Brooklyn, that may be in this area or maybe down by Columbus Circle.
I'm one of the people that, give up my car because I didn't want extra things that I,
Right.
So I would assume that you would say that the travel is lighter. Have you seen it get better?
Yeah, the travel isn't really lighter. It's more pushed out. So you still have your slowdowns, you still have your congestions, because there's just an abundance of
New
people.
York. It's New York.
So does it alleviate? I haven't seen it alleviated in the paths that I've taken. So now, when my child is in the Columbus Circle area down on 8th and 56th Street, and if you turn in that circle, you go in that circle and you make the wrong turn out that circle, you go smack dab into a toll booth. So it's like, no matter what you do, and me going down there the first time, trying to find my way home, and it was like, oh, okay, I know the west side, I'm going to take the west side of the park home, because when I researched it, it said lower, you wouldn't hit one until about 60th Street.
Now, so although City Council doesn't have any control over congestion pricing, you are okay with it?
Like I said, it serves its purpose. I think we should spend more time. If we're really hurting for money like that, then there's plenty of laws that are broken, and I'm not perfect myself, but there's plenty of laws that are broken that the NYPD should be on top of, giving out tickets and stuff like that.
Well, that's one way to look at it, that's for sure. Well, for those that are interested in getting to know you better and wanting to contact you, how would they go about doing so?
If you want to contact me, you can reach me at Instagram at James_W WARD, and stop by my site, jamesforthebronx.com. And if you're interested in about the Bronx Arc, you can stop by that site as well, thebronxarc.org.
Now, quickly, is there anything that you'd like to let any of the other candidates that are running know that, hey, what to expect on their first campaign?
If you're running, hit me up. Come talk to me, because you may have found something that you've experienced that I haven't, and I may have experienced something that you haven't. And especially if this is your first campaign, let's swap notes, let's lock hands, because if you're running for the people, let's unite and stand tall and do this properly for the people that we're going to swear to protect and to uphold.
Thank you, James. And for those interested in being on the show, feel free to email me at gonzalodurannyc@gmail.com. Feel free to check out my social media to get to know me better at Gonzalo Duran NYC. Until then, and as always, God bless you and God bless America.